Hi, I'm Gary with Optimal Cruising, and this is the one packing mistake you do not want to make for your cruise vacation. Imagine this. You just got off an airplane and you're rushing in a taxi to your cruise terminal to make it to your ship on time. Or maybe you just want to get there a little bit early and enjoy the full day before your cruise even sets sail. You grabbed your luggage, you handed it to the porter, now you're in line for check-in. The sun is out, the ocean is sparkling, and that beautiful ship is going to be your home for the next week. You can already taste the poolside cocktails. But then reality hits. Your swimsuit, your sunscreen, that nice dinner outfit you brought was all handed to the porter in your suitcase. And as you just found out, it might not make it to your room for hours. Just like that, your first day of your cruise vacation goes from poolside bliss to a frustrating waiting game. We've been on a number of cruises, and we can't tell you how many times we see this mistake happen again and again and again. So today we're going to talk about the single biggest packing mistake that cruisers make, and I'm going to give you a complete checklist for your carry-on bag so you can start your vacation out right. Alright, so for starters, as you can gather from that fascinating intro, you must pack all your day one essentials in a carry-on bag that you carry on the cruise ship with you. In fact, if there is a golden rule of cruising, this is it. Now let's break this down into the four main things you really got to put in that carry-on bag because you can't wait for your suitcase to be delivered to your room. Now this first one is kind of obvious. You've got to bring your passport and all your documents with you in your carry-on bag or on your person. Do not make the mistake of leaving these in your checked bags. You would not believe the amount of times we see passengers get denied boarding because they don't have their passport. Why don't you have your passport? Well, it's in my luggage, but the luggage has already been sent with the porters. In some cases, they can go and retrieve it, but in some cases, they're completely out of luck. Second, make sure you take all of your medications, even over-the-counter stuff that you might need in your carry-on luggage, because you may not get your checked suitcase until later that evening. If you get a headache or need some Tylenol, you're going to want it on your person. If you have medication that has to be taken on a schedule, do not rely on those bags to make it to your room in time to meet that schedule. That needs to be in your carry-on bag so that you don't have any issues. Okay, number 3, you either need to pack a change of clothes or your swimsuit in your carry-on bag. So if you're wearing your swimsuit the first day, make sure you pack a change of clothes so that when you get wet and your coveralls aren't good anymore, you need to go and change clothes, and you can do that in your room even though your suitcase has not made it there yet. This means you can go straight to the pool and hot tub and enjoy that first moment you're on the ship. And talking about clothes, I always pack my first dinner night outfit in my carry-on bag because I don't want to be relying on my suitcase to make it to my room in time, and when I want to take a shower and change, I want to be ready to go. And the fourth thing is anything that you need to freshen up. Well, sunscreen goes on this list because it's an item you're going to need that first day, especially if you're sailing in a warm climate and you're going to want to enjoy the pool deck, but you don't want to get a bad sunburn. And then any other things like deodorant, perfumes, anything you need to freshen up and get clean, you want that in your carry-on bag so that you can be ready to go that first day and night of your cruise and not worry about when your luggage is going to get there. When it gets there, it's there, but your first day is covered. Now next up, we're going to talk about some major things to avoid. But before we do that, if this video is helping you out so far, make sure you check the like button and click on the subscribe button so that we can continue to grow this channel. Now, one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're packing is they bring things that are not allowed by their cruise line. So make sure you check the banned items list for your specific cruise line before you go. One of the most popular things that gets confiscated are outlet extenders because there aren't a whole lot of outlets in these cruise ship rooms, but you may want additional outlets, especially to charge all your devices. Well, there's one simple fix that you can use. While cruise lines generally don't like power strips that extend the power outlets, they will allow a plug that has multiple USB and different types of USB ports, and that can allow you to charge everything you need for your entire cruise without having additional outlets. Most cruise ships' banned item list have grown recently, partially because of passenger misuse of these items. The cruise line sees a lot of them as fire hazards and also as disturbing other passengers. So my advice is know what this list is and don't try to bring those items, and definitely don't count on them if you do put them in your luggage, because they'll likely be confiscated. And even if they're not, don't post about it on social media that you got one through, because that's the quickest way to be banned from that cruise line. Now, many people make the mistake of not packing a first aid kit, and while this takes up a little bit of room in your luggage, it's definitely worth it, because while cruise ships have doctors on board, they're extremely expensive. It is not cheap to use their medical center, and if you have something like a sunburn, or you get a rash, or you're motion sick, make sure you have that stuff on your person, or that you packed it with you so that you can take care of those issues at a fraction of what it'll cost you to see a doctor on board the ship. Now, these next two things don't necessarily need to go in your carry-on luggage, but make sure you bring them, because even if you're going to the Caribbean, the weather is not always perfect. You might find that you need a cardigan or a sweater, a pullover, or a light jacket of some sort. Even the air conditioning on cruise lines can get kind of cold, so at some points you might want that extra coverage. A little travel umbrella and also closed-toed shoes are an important thing to bring in your luggage, because these are things that will allow you to be more versatile. Especially if you want to participate in certain sports and activities on board, some cruise lines will not allow you to do so unless you have appropriate footwear. And finally, a classic error people make is overpacking things they don't need. Check what your cruise ship cabin has. Most cruise ship cabins have shampoo, they have soap, they have hair dryers. These are things you don't need to try to bring on board. And leaving that stuff at home saves a ton of room. In fact, you're best off packing light, because you can have extra room to bring things back home with you. Now, I'm sure I haven't covered everything, and the best advice comes from real life experiences. So if you have a tip for what to pack or what not to pack for your cruise, please leave it in the comments below and we'll be sure to share it. So now that you know the biggest packing mistake not to make sure you watch this next video to make the most out of your next cruise.